In-service training for teachers begins. St. Lucia's Trade Union Federation defends fired workers, and man with bow and arrow kills 5 people in Norway. Hello and welcome to the ZIZ Midday Newscast. Today is Thursday, October 14th, 2021. I am Mervan Thompson. Nationally, on Tuesday, the Ministry of Education held the opening ceremony for its annual in-service training program for new staff who began teaching at the September start of the 2021-2022 school year. The ceremony was held at the Immaculate Conception Catholic School auditorium and will become a staple in the lives of the teachers throughout their first year of teaching. Sessions will be held every Tuesday at 1:30 to 3:30 in the afternoon for the entire academic year, with the venues to be announced accordingly. Francil Morris, Chief Education Officer, told of the importance of the sessions.
The in-service training for teachers will remind you of some of those experiences and make it possible for you to enhance the competencies that you need to address the varying learning needs of our students in the classroom. The dynamics of education undergo a consistent change, and it is essential that our teachers also remain consistent and updated with these changes. The in-service training for teachers aims to help you as new educators to become good learners by acquiring the habit of consistent learning.
Extending congratulations to the new teaching staff, the Minister of Education, Honorable Jonelle Powell, reiterated the ministry's commitment to ensuring the professionalization of the teachers and reminded of support available.
The ministry is particularly mindful that in transforming teaching and learning, the skill sets, knowledge base and expertise of our teachers will also need to be greatly enhanced. We're therefore cognizant of and promoting the importance of continuous professional development for teachers. But the in-service training will be for you a relevant scaffold as you journey through this year of teaching. The Ministry of Education is fully committed to providing support for all of its teachers, because we want all teachers to provide quality teaching so that our students may experience quality learning.
Minister Powell urged teachers to be receptive. The top placers in the first ever Finding Nemo scavenger hunt have been announced. First place, Sharima Matthew. Second place, Janine Lake. Third place, Danisha Grant. Within minutes of its launch on Friday, persons eagerly signed up, according to Erika Lennon-Petty, planning officer at NEMA, giving details of the competition.
Finding Nemo is actually a brainchild of mine. A few years ago, during the initial plannings for ADDRR, we came up with a scavenger hunt idea. Unfortunately, we were not able to execute it at the time, but this pandemic actually gave us the opportunity to hold such an event, as it was a virtual event. Finding Nemo is actually a scavenger hunt, a virtual scavenger hunt, where participants are registered through a registration form, and then they are given a task. As they complete one task, they are given the next task. And then it continues until all the tasks are completed, and whomever finishes the task first, all the tasks first, is announced as the winner.
The feedback from the event has been overwhelming, according to Lennon-Petty, which is a mark of success for the emergency agency.
Within 15 minutes of it being launched, we had participants already signed up. Some even called NEMA to ask, when is the scavenger hunt going to begin? And so the response from the public was overwhelming, and that in itself is a success. Some of the reviews that we got so far was that it was very educational. One participant said they're tired, but they had fun. Others said that they learned stuff about NEMA that they did not know before. And I think that's the success, as the goal of this is to promote comprehensive disaster management, as the tasks were centered around.
The planning officer thanked all participants and asked for support for the agency in future events. And finally, on the local scene, the police have solved a string of break-ins that occurred in the Frigate Bay area, and joint operations carried out by several units of the Royal St. Christopher and Nevis Police Force have led to the recovery of a number of stolen items. As a result of the recovery and police investigations, Vaughn Osborne of Connery has been charged for three of the break-ins, and a suspect is in custody in relation to a fourth incident. Sergeant Ray Gordon from the Frigate Bay Police Station disclosed that because of the operations, items from all four house break-ins, in addition to other break-ins that have been reported, were recovered. We move now to news on the regional scene. St. Lucia's Trade Union Federation, TUF, has taken up the case involving employees at North American Assemblies who were allegedly fired from their jobs for not getting vaccinated against COVID-19. The workers met the Federation at the CSA Center in Castries on Wednesday morning.
North American Assembly's employees who claimed they were fired for not getting vaccinated without any legal entitlements are determined not to let their boss get away with it. On Wednesday, the workers showed up at the CSA Center to attend a meeting with the Trade Union Federation to explore all their options on the way forward.
Those workers who spoke with us, we indicated to them that this was not in keeping with law, that the management could not make such a threat to them, and that it was their responsibility to continue to go to work and to work to the best of their abilities. We got the information that earlier this week the management had in fact, the workers had reported to work, and the management of the company had in fact fired them without any benefits, indicating to them that they had fired themselves because they refused to get vaccinated. So we, as a trade union, as a federation of workers and workers' organizations, we have a responsibility to stand up with the workers.
The Federation is adamant that the dismissal of the employees was a violation of their rights to choose their medical treatment, and to dismiss them without any legal entitlements is adding insult to injury.
This morning, this meeting is about hearing from the workers and determining a course of action for the workers and the TUF to work jointly to ensure that that matter is resolved.
The Trade Union Federation stands ready to act on behalf of the workers. For the DBS News World, I am Don Nicholas.
In Grenada, an elderly woman was reportedly raped and robbed at her home by an intruder. We hear more in this GBN News report.
Frightened, restless, traumatized and terrified are some of the words used by Jessie Bowen to describe how her 73-year-old cousin is feeling after she was robbed and raped at her home in the early hours of Wednesday morning. According to Bowen, the victim, who lives alone in the St. Andrews area, was attacked at around 3 a.m. by a man she said was wearing dark-color clothing, gloves, face and head covering. She repeated the story the victim told her in this Zoom interview.
Around 3 a.m., she heard her front door close, and because of the sound it makes when it's closed, that woke her up. But she lay on her bed trying to figure out, really what was going on, And then she saw a light in her back bedroom. And by the time she think of getting off her bed, the next thing was a man opened her bedroom, which is the first bedroom up to the front, and with a knife in his hand against her neck.
She said the unexpected elderly woman was not only robbed of her money, phone and groceries, but also her dignity.
She offered him, she says, take anything you want. You want money? Take it. He took whatever money she gave him. He also looked under her pillow and saw she had 2 cell phones there, which he took also. With all that going on, he still had the knife at her neck. The next thing he did was push her onto the bed and decided to rape her.
All through the dreadful ordeal, the family members said that the victim stated she was in pain as she suffered from various illnesses. After the intruder allegedly took what he wanted and left, the victim called for help and the police arrived later. At present, the 73-year-old is finding it difficult to sleep in her home and is now living with neighbors until the family put other security measures in place for her safety.
In news on the international scene, a 37-year-old Danish citizen is suspected of killing 5 people in a bow and arrow attack in the Norwegian town of Kongsberg in a rare incident of mass killing in Norway, police said. We hear more in this Reuters report.
A man armed with a bow and arrow killed 5 people and wounded 2 others in the Norwegian town of Kongsberg during a series of attacks on Wednesday. That's according to local police chief Oyvind Aas.
I can unfortunately confirm that 5 people have been killed and 2 are injured. One of the injured is a police officer who was in the store off duty where the incident happened. He is now in the hospital, as is the other injured person.
Aas said a male suspect was apprehended and that it was too early to know the intentions behind the attack. Norwegian Prime Minister Erna Solberg said police were investigating if it was an act of terror.
I want to underline that if it's terror-related, we don't know if it's a political attack that has taken place. The police will have to investigate that.
Following the attacks, the police directorate said it had ordered officers nationwide to carry firearms as a precaution. It added there was no change to the national threat level so far. Norwegian police are normally unarmed, but officers have access to guns and rifles when needed. Wednesday's attack was the worst in Norway since 2011, when a far-right extremist killed 77 people, mostly teens at a youth camp.
The U.S. government is stepping up efforts to fix issues with the global supply chain, which have led to higher prices and many items running low. The slowdown in the struggling economy is being blamed on cuts in factory output and bottleneck at ports. Al Jazeera's Kimberly Halkett reports.
Each year, almost half of all U.S. imports arrive here at the Port of Los Angeles. But right now, dozens of ships are stuck off the coast, waiting to dock and unload. That backlog has led to a shortage of goods and higher prices for U.S. consumers.
You're hearing a lot about something called supply chains and how hard it is to get a range of things from a toaster to sneakers to bicycles to bedroom furniture.
That's why on Wednesday, U.S. President Joe Biden held a virtual roundtable with CEOs from companies like Federal Express, UPS, and Walmart to address the challenges. The companies all agreed to increase their overnight and off-peak hours. The White House has also brokered an agreement to expand working hours at the Port of Los Angeles, making it a 24-hour-a-day, 7-day-a-week operation.
Their commitment to go all in on 24/7 operations means that businesses of all sizes will get their goods on shelves faster and more reliably.
When the global pandemic shut America's economy down, demand for goods went up. Store shelves across the U.S. grew bare, but as the economy opens up, the problems persisted. America's supply chains can't keep up with demand. Labor shortages have compounded the problem, and fewer workers stock store shelves. As the holiday season approaches, the White House has been under pressure to resolve the supply chain issues hampering America's economic recovery. Some analysts believe Wednesday's announcement won't be enough.
It's a huge logistic nightmare, and a lot of it is overseas. And therefore, what the president's doing, isn't going to really hurt. But at the end of the day, it doesn't solve the problem.
President Biden says investments in infrastructure would help ease some of the supply chain issues. That's why he's urging the U.S. Congress to pass his infrastructure plan to create jobs and to ensure the United States remains resilient to future economic shocks. Kimberly Halkett, Al Jazeera, the White House.
And now for the weather. The temperature is 28 degrees Celsius or 82 degrees Fahrenheit. Present weather is overcast skies with light rain. Winds are a gentle breeze of 8 miles per hour from the west. Seas are not exceeding 1.2 meters or 4 feet. Weather forecast for St. Kitts and Nevis today will be partly cloudy skies, becoming locally cloudy at times with a 70% or a high chance of showers. Tonight will be fair to partly cloudy skies with a 40% or a moderate chance of showers. Sunset today will be at 5:50 p.m. and sunrise tomorrow at 6:04 a.m. That brings us to the end of the ZIZ Midday Newscast. Join us this evening for these stories and more in detail. Thank you for tuning in. I'm Mervan Thompson. Have a great day.